Rawr, rawr.
I'm so happy, happy-go-lucky me. I just go my way, living every day. I don't
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. 3, 2, 1. Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to a supplemental episode of the Hobbsy Horror Screencast Bros, where yada 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 yada. We're gonna get into it. We have a special guest today, friend of the show, Joe, arriving.
Hey, guys, I don't want to spook you already, but what if people were old?
What if? That is the question of the night. And over yonder, broadcasting live from the void seas, as it were, we have Captain Archbarge, RJ. I'm gonna fit many names in tonight. How you doing, bud?
Pretty good.
Good. We are popping in here at this point to throw together a little thing to just talk about the film, The Home, starring Pete Davidson, that just recently is coming out the eve of this recording, as it were. But we got to see it this past Monday. Just
A couple days ago.
Just a few days ago. Yeah. We're going to chat about it a little bit and question some things, and we're going to try to not spoil an excessive amount of it, but of course things will get spoiled as we're discussing a film that just came out. Apologies. If you don't like that, go watch the movie first. Otherwise, stick with us. It's only going to be like, 10, 15 minutes? Anyway, gentlemen, The Home.
The Home.
Did anybody have any idea what this was before we went and saw it?
Nope.
I had seen a trailer on Twitch, which was just the part where I forget which character, but he says something about just because they're old doesn't mean they don't deserve a good life, or something like that.
The doctor?
The doctor, the good doctor.
I think it was the doctor.
Something W something.
Yeah.
I don't remember the W in his name, and that was
Right.
it.
W. Interesting name. Yeah, I had no idea what this was. For some background, we didn't know we were seeing this until it started. I guess the theaters have a night, a mystery movie night, as it were, that friend of the show, Joe, expressed to us when a horror movie was the definitive thing happening. So yeah, sitting in the chair, it starts. There were a few options. That was the one that nobody wanted, I guess. I understand why. Right off the
Was it Pete Davidson? Was it because of Pete Davidson?
Okay, look, there was a lot of weird moments in the theater where people laughed, and I was uncomfortable because I'm like, I don't understand what we're laughing at.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. I was like, I don't get the joke. Was there a joke?
Like something.
Am I the joke? I don't know.
Some things like were laughing points that were supposed to be humorous, but like there were just like offbeat moments where the theater laughed, and I'm silent. I don't understand.
I think notably the first laugh of the movie was as soon as they showed Pete Davidson.
I think
just
so.
Seeing
Yeah.
that guy on the big screen in like trying to be a serious guy. People, let's say they reacted to it, and it was not the last unintentional laugh of the film.
I'm not gonna lie, the fiance, she got a good pop when Pete Davidson popped up on screen. I'm not gonna lie.
The problem with Pete Davidson, I've expressed to you guys even just before recording, is I can't see Pete Davidson as anything but Pete Davidson. It's all he is.
I mean, yeah, he definitely played like himself in the movie, but it worked with the character he was playing. He wasn't the worst part of the movie. Let's just put it that way.
On the one hand, he's one of the most like distinct, and I'll use that as a nice way of saying weird-looking fellas you're likely to see on the screen anywhere. So of course you're going to recognize him
Of
immediately.
course.
And then on the other hand, his character was just kind of a nothing. Hobbsy, I'll let you get into the plot and the background of the movie, but there's some setup.
Um, I mean, we know he's an F up. Uh, we find out kind of why. Um, Trauma and tragedy and all that good stuff that makes a good character, I suppose. Uh, but I had a hard time understanding his motivations. I know we had talked about kind of the, we'll call it the pinnacle kickoff scene where Pete playing Max uh, is painting a very fancy and archaic mural on the side of a building. Uh, and the cops pull up, and it's like he expected them, and he was waiting for them, like he wanted to get busted. So it's
He does kind of a swaggy move where he like waves to them in a fancy way, like all right, let's do it.
right, and
but then gets all like worked up about like not wanting to go to the prison. I'm just like, and you could tell obviously this wasn't his first offense.
yeah, it's weird because we had talked about it, how he seemed begrudging to the father here, for kind of going over things with him and then like talking about like getting him help and whatnot. But then after the fact, once like it's settled and he kind of has what he's set to do, he's grateful for it, and it's I don't understand his motivations,
Yeah, he
unless it's
also
just
has
like he
that moment.
just doesn't care. Um,
He also has that moment talking to his dad. His dad's like his should say foster father
mm,
uh, has made some uh, pulled some connections and made some phone calls. And at first, Pete Davidson says, "I didn't ask you to do that." Kind of like he's trying to push back and like again, like he's expecting to go to jail and maybe happy to go to jail. Maybe that's what he wants.
right.
And then as soon as his dad continues, he's like, "Okay, well, the last thing I want now is to go to jail. So obviously, I'm gonna play ball."
It was a weird point. A lot of this movie, I don't want to jump too far into it, um, just to avoid anything real big. But it's well off the top. Like I think I know part of the reason this doesn't work for me as well, aside from Pete Davidson. I was looking into it, and okay, so we didn't have a budget for it. I haven't checked again today to see if they've posted any budget information for it. But I don't know how much this movie cost. But I do know that the guy behind it just doesn't click with me. Uh, who is it? James did. I've completely forgotten his name at this point. But he wrote all five. He wrote and I believe directed all five of the Purge films. And I don't really care for the Purge either. I don't think they're well written, well done movies. And much like this one, I feel like either the point is heavy-handed or just gets lost. So there's a lot here that just doesn't sit. The film felt very disjointed to me. I'm not sure if anybody else kind of felt like we were getting nowhere very quickly.
Well, I mean, it sets up as because essentially it's that going to prison and he gets like community service at this retirement
Mhm.
home where he's like what do they call it, like a live-in super or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and then it just pretty much just goes the same route as every mystery thriller ever. Um, and I guess that's a subgenre of horror, but I don't know. I've never been real big in like the mystery thrillers. Like there's been a few that I've enjoyed, but for the most part, I never really got into them.
Right.
So once it started like going down that route, and I'm like, okay, I've seen all of these before because they all follow the same formula.
Well, it felt like it was trying to be elevated horror, and I don't know if it hit. I also don't think
Mhm.
it should have been 98 minutes long. I know I joked and said this could have been like the last 10 minutes of the movie, and it would have been a great short. Um, but this movie did not need to be 98 minutes long. The
It is a
whole
long 98
opening is the
minutes.
longest, slowest burn. It dragged so hard for me.
And
Um,
part of the disconnect you were talking about, it started like with an extended montage where it's showing like scenes from Pete Davidson's past and also just weird like art shots of lights that
mm,
come to have more meaning later on or whatever, trying to foreshadow things. But it's just this artistic montage that, like you were saying, seems like it's going for elevated horror at first, and then it gets into kind of a banal and boring mystery for a little while. And honestly, that's when I was vibing to it the most. I am uh, the least into horror of anybody on this episode right now. I like the genre, but it's just not entirely my thing.
mm.
So when it was just like Pete Davidson kind of like being weirded out by old people and then having some charming moments with them and hanging out, I was like, I'd kind of rather be watching just Pete Davidson making friends with these people. Of course, it goes off the rails. No spoilers, but
it,
you can tell it's going to go off the rails pretty soon. But yeah, it's disjointed. It was like several different movies within the first half hour, and then none of that really pays off until it finally hits its stride halfway through, which feels like 2 hours into the movie.
this could have been a very funny and strange rom com if they'd pushed the character of Norma in that direction. I think I would have enjoyed more of a movie about Pete Davidson fumbling through a relationship with an elderly woman in a retirement home than what I got here. um, but no, there were. I won't shit on it completely. I spent a lot of time over the last few days just kind of like trying to think of redeeming points of this. And the characters were good. I enjoyed what we got of characters. I guess the ones we were around the most were like Lou, the kind of actor and whatnot, and we had the time with Norma. Man, I remember these old people's names better than I remember those poor girls in Blood and Honey. Uh, but yeah, they were very there were some very good characters and character moments. Some of the cinematography was really good as well. Like some of the shots were excellent as well. But I just feel like the plot, it could have been done better. I feel like it didn't have to drag so long just to go so heavy-handed towards the end. Um, I guess it kind of built on that through the mystery aspect going through it as well. They played decently with some herrings, I suppose. I don't think you
That
were
cool death scene.
definitely
Not gonna
had
lie.
yeah, yeah,
Did have
definitely.
a cool death scene.
I mean, once this goes on the list for a future episode fully, I will love breaking this down because there were some solid death scenes. I mean, granted, only one of them happened separate from the other 10, but uh, yeah, it's I don't know, I don't know. I didn't like it. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't have I don't have I like I said, man, it had some character moments, had some good shots. Uh and I guess maybe it had some redeeming qualities in the build up, but otherwise what I got is tinfoil hat, old people bad. Uh, that's about it. That's about Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson. Anybody
Pete
else have
Davidson.
anything you wanted to add in there or
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really have nothing. Was not a fan of the movie at all. Just because I'm not a big fan of the genre. I'm not a huge fan of like murder, like not like the mystery thrillers because it literally um mom watches way too much Lifetime movies and it reminds me of every Lifetime movie I've ever watched in my whole entire life and I'm just like, bro, I've seen this movie. All you do is swap out the characters. Maybe, the guy did it instead of the girl or the side piece, and that's the only difference.
it's just lifetime with Pete Davidson.
Exactly. Which I would not be surprised if after that movie, goes to theaters and all that, it just goes straight to fucking Lifetime.
Oh wow, that would be a thing. Uh, Pete, I love you. I really do. I think you're a funny guy. I understand you're going for serious roles, and I respect that.
I think his character would have been better if it did go the whole romantic comedy route rather than the mystery thriller
I think
route.
that
I'm
would have
not
been a
gonna lie.
good movie. But otherwise, like I said, I think this could have been made like a 30-minute short, and
Yeah, this
it
could have
could have
been like
been
a movie
played to
starring.
better effect.
It could have been like one of those weird kind of artistic A24 movies that like Shia LaBeouf would star in like 8 to 10 years ago.
Right?
But Pete Davidson seems to have an idea of where he wants to go in his career, and I think he's the only one who wants him to go there. Um, I was trying to find it just now. I remember a tweet from like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe when he was just getting big,
Hmm.
and people weren't sure what to make of him. And spoiler alert, people still aren't sure what to make of him. But it was just some lady saying Pete Davidson should show it to us, and I thought
Show
there was
what
a
to
possibility.
us?
You know, I thought
Yeah,
there was a
but
possibility he was gonna at least show some prosthetic. We've seen some. This has been a good year for
it's
prosthetic
been a good
dong,
year for prosthetic dong. It really
and
has.
especially in the horror movies on the big screen, and I thought maybe Pete Davidson would show it to us, but we were denied. So he all that to say he wasn't going full hog on anything.
I think I'm even more upset now because he didn't.
That would have been something redeeming about it. Now,
I think that just
um,
lost the movie another point in my mind. Oh Lord. Oh no. Can we do negatives?
I, uh, I think I'm the hottest on this movie of the three of us. Not that I liked it or ever want to watch it again. It is a little bit hard to talk about this movie without talking about the just weird stuff that happens from the midway point on, and especially those last 10 minutes. If there's a redeeming reason to watch this movie, it's for the slow burn, the very slow burn up until those last 10 minutes. The emotional high just before that, that was supposed to be maybe tear inducing, that was perhaps the biggest of the unintentional laughs in the theater.
Yeah, I'm
And
probably actually.
without spoiling anything, he drives home the twist that's happening or the emotional high that's happening, and he says the same thing like 4 times in a row in different words just to make sure the audience gets it,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty good. So I do think it's unfair a little bit to this movie not to talk about it in full context of everything that happens, since
That's
they seem so
fair.
proud of those last few minutes. Still, because of everything that comes before it, I don't think it's one of those, bad enough to watch or bad enough that it's good, or watch it ironically, or whatever. Um,
Wait till it's free.
yeah, I saw somebody say wait until it's on Pluto TV and watch it at 2 times speed and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. What can we
Oh, I
say?
was saying wait till it's on Lifetime, but that's just my opinion.
Different audience.
What can we say for a quick synopsis of the film? Or to less on the spoilers. Pete Davidson, troubled youth, takes on job, live-in superintendent in old people's home. Things get weird. He's not allowed in certain spaces of the building. This leads to much mischief because he was brought in here as a troublemaker, and he does continue that. There's never really I will say they did a good job of giving the character heart. I just
Yeah, I
didn't
was gonna say
understand his motivations.
he was like the Grinch. His heart grew 3 sizes that day until the twist.
Yeah, because he takes a real babyface turn on this, and like it's like he's the good guy. Um, but yeah, as he's investigating the building, trying to find more information, uh, he does find himself in spaces he's not to be and interacting with people he's not meant to interact with. People die along the way. Typical mystery fare. Um, but it's such a long buildup of that. I don't know. Like I said, there are character moments. Is there anything else you'd like to put on that friend of the show, Joe? As far as like summary wise? Because I'm not gonna lie.
Um,
We saw 28 years later, what, 2 weeks before this? And I don't remember
yeah.
anything about that movie. I know I will miss
um,
things.
I think you covered the general strokes. Just
Pretty
everything
much.
about the execution is lacking in one way or another. Like he's a troubled youth, like you said, but they only show him really being a troubled youth by like painting a badass but cliched kind of mural
Hmm.
that any store would be happy to have as an art piece. And then they kind of drop that. Like he never goes, uh, never takes a heel turn. He's never too much of a shit. He's never like super anti-authoritarian. He just like wants to go in a room because he thinks he hears something weird in that room. And
Yeah.
you know, so I don't know if any of the characterization mattered or if anything paid off in any significant way,
They
but
just
your summary
needed.
is a good summary of the setup
They,
of the movie, and then it really goes off the rails.
It was the
I
basest of vehicles to carry it forward.
think the mischief at the beginning of the movie was just, hey, this is why he's in this retirement home.
Yeah, exactly. It was the
That's pretty much
barest
all it
bones of
was.
vehicles to push
Yeah.
him to the destination, and it just was confusing to me.
Because he can't volunteer there. No. He has to get in trouble and be sent there
Right.
instead of going to jail.
We have to make him go. We have to put our hero in the place. If we can even call it that in the end. It's a crazy movie. It does a huge heel turn. It's wild. Uh, but it's a lot to get to that point.
hmm
And the mystery just didn't do it for me. Before we were even at the end, I'm like, I get it. I know, old people bad. It's all I've come away with.
I think the last 10 minutes or so are going to wind up on YouTube before too long, and people can just watch that and get the point of the movie.
I will go and do my own cut of this film. I've been practicing. I can do it. But yeah, no. Other than that, I've got nothing else to say about it. I don't recommend it. I'm sorry, Pete. I really do hope that you find success in this build-up. Mr. DeMarco, James, John, writer, director, man. I don't know. But after The Purge and now this, you're on my list, buddy. Anything else, gentlemen?
I think we've said too much already.
I think so. We're at the 22-minute mark, and by the time we cut it, we'll be at maybe the 20-minute mark. So, with that, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you had fun listening to this. We enjoy talking about it. Anyway, you can find us at the normal places. Twitter, X, Blue Sky, at Hobbsy Horror. Personal things, I can be found Blue Sky at that Hobbsy.bluesky.social or whatever it is. Friend of the show, Joe. Would you like to put anything in?
Just at makeitunclear.bsky.social. Follow me there for the stupidest shit you've ever read.
We love it. And RJ.
RJ Ware 89.
That's the one.
Sports stuff. Yeah.
Twitter X. Find him there. And with that, we're going to go ahead and shut down the supplemental, and we'll see y'all next time. Take care and bye-bye.